Breaking news! Match Girls from Brian and May Match Factory are going on strike. But before we get to that, let's learn a little bit about what led to the strike. The Brian and May Match Factory opened in 1861. Girls as young as 6, however mostly young teen girls, worked 6 days a week up to 12 to 14 hours a day. Jobs at the match factory consisted of dipping, wrapping, cutting down, and boxing matches. Match girls were paid little, fined for little things like dropping a match, and exposed to phosphorus necrosis, known widely as Phossy jaw. The white phosphorus in the content of the matches caused the disease. Phossy jaw started with abscesses in the mouth, leading to jaw and facial disfigurement, and even sometimes fatal brain damage. Even under bad working conditions, match girls knew how to have a good time during their free time. Match girls loved a night out at the music hall and singing along to all the songs. They wore large hats with big ostrich feathers on them. To settle disputes, match girls had street fights. They fought with their fists with a group of girls watching, and it was rare that the police would ever interfere. On June 15, 1888, the Fabian Society, a group of prominent left-wing thinkers, held a meeting where Clementina Black shared information on the working conditions at Brian and May. Henry Hyde Champion proposed to boycott the purchase of Brian and May matches. Herbert Burroughs seconded, and the vote passed unanimously. The next day, Herbert Burroughs and Annie Besant, a member of the Fabian Society and owner of The Link magazine, interviewed match girls outside the factory. On June 23rd, Annie posted an article in her magazine titled "White Slavery in London," exposing the working conditions at Brian and May. The factory threatened Annie with a lawsuit and demanded employees to sign saying the article was false, to which they refused. Soon later, Annie received an anonymous letter later found to be a thank you from the Match Girls that was published in The Link on July 14, 1888. On July 5, 1888, girls were being fired as a result of not signing the untrue document, and they could not take it anymore. 1,400 girls and women walked out on strike. The next day, around 200 girls marched to Bouverie Street to speak with Annie. Mary Knowles, Mary Cummings, and Sarah Chapman were invited to speak to her, and despite Annie disagreeing with strike, she agreed to help and plans began. 2 days later, the first strike meeting was held. Harry Halbert suggested a strike register, and the strike committee was formed and consisted of Miss Mary Knowles, Miss Mary Cummings, Sarah Chapman, Alice Francis, Kate Shatter, Mary Driscoll, Jane Wakeling, and Eliza Martin. After this, the press started taking an interest. Magazines like the Pall Mall Gazette and the Star wrote about them. On July 10th, Annie took 56 girls to the House of Commons. 12 girls went in to meet the MPs, Robert Cunningham and Charles Conybeare, and the London Trades Council got involved. The next day, the strike register was opened and over 700 people signed up. In following days, MPs raised the matter to the strike parliament. Toynbee Hall added their support, and 3 letters were published to the Times, who were supportive of the girls. The London Trades Council met with Bryant and May directors to discuss the strike demands. It was agreed that a group of the strike committee could meet with the directors and plead their case. On July 17, 1888, the London Trades Council and members of the strike committee met with Bryant and May directors, and all demands were met. The demands consisted of all fines being abolished, all deductions for paint, brushes, and more should end, the pennies should be restored or an equivalent advantage given in the system of pay to the boys who do the racking, all grievances should be laid directly before the firm, and all girls should be taken back. Other agreements consisted of a union should be formed, a room for lunch aside from the workroom should be provided, and barrows carry boxes instead of young girls. When the strike committee put the proposals to a vote to the rest of the girls, everyone agreed enthusiastically. The Match Girls strike opened the world of unions for everybody. Women started to participate more in unions, and so did other low-skilled job workers. Other people were influenced to fight for better working conditions and start unions of their own. The dock strike of 1889 was heavily influenced by the Match Girls. Lots of the dock workers were brothers and fathers of Match Girls, and after seeing the success of the girls' strike, they decided to have one of their own. A new match factory opened by the Salvation Army in 1891 without the use of white phosphorus. The Labor Party, a political party described as an alliance of social democrats, formed in 1900. Plays, musicals, and movies have been written about the Match Girls and have characters portraying the girls. Musicals like Matchgirls Musical, Strike a Light, and When We Strike have been written based on the Matchgirls Strike. Movies like Dimmer Ember, A Blaze of Fantasy, a short film inspired by the Match Girls, and Enola Holmes 2, who has a character based on Sarah Chapman, have been made. Books have also been written inspired by the Match Girls. Books like The Matchgirls Strike and children's books Lighting the Strike and Billy and the Match Girl are stories of the empowering strike.